You're listening to the How Is He podcast, brought to you by Carl Estimating, your one-stop shop for estimating and tender bids. Extra capacity without the payroll or HR headache. See carlestimating.ie.
Welcome back to the How Is He podcast, right here live. Well, it's not live, it's recorded, but anyway, right here from Ampifi Studios, right in the heart of Carroll Town. No Papa this evening, he's away on holidays, well for him. Anyway, today's guest is someone whose voice many will recognise, but it's her story behind the microphone that's truly extraordinary. Nikki Hayes is one of Ireland's most well-known broadcasters with a career spanning decades across Spin 103, RT2, 2FM that is, East Coast FM. She's also an author, DJ, a powerful advocate for mental health and addiction recovery. But beyond success, Nikki has lived through some of life's toughest battles, struggling with mental illness from a young age, navigating addiction, experiencing homelessness, and ultimately rebuilding her life from rock bottom. Now in recovery, Nikki's using her voice in a completely new way, speaking openly, connecting to people, and reminding others that no one is beyond hope. Nikki, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
What about that introduction? It's good, isn't it? Thanks for coming down. We genuinely appreciate it. Long day. You told me you're up since 4 o'clock this morning.
4:30 this morning. Yeah.
Oh, do you enjoy that?
Do you know what? I don't mind. I actually was. We were talking about it there off air, and I don't mind the early starts because I would rather. So when I was in treatment, we had to be up at 6 a.m, and that's kind of a practice I've kept. Yeah. So I feel if I lie in, maybe that's not so good. So I like to be up early and at it.
Do you find it easier for the bright mornings?
Oh gosh, yeah. I think everybody does.
Is there something wonderful about that?
Yeah, I mean, you can open the window, and even if it's raining, there's still that light there, and the sky can look moody. Or if the sun's out, like we all get very excited because we don't know how long it's going to last for. Although heat wave coming in this weekend, so yeah. Yeah,
well, let's go over the 4 or 5 days of wetness first, and then we might get to the weekend. But it's supposed to be heat wave this weekend, right?
Apparently, yeah, on Saturday.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be great.
According to Alan from Carlow Weather, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's good at it. We had his wife on Emer here a few months ago. She was very good as well. Come here, let's get into it. You started radio at just 15 years of age.
I did, yeah.
What was the feeling that you got from being behind the mic at such a young age like that?
Right, well, I never fit in. I was always the black sheep, so didn't really fit in with my family, never fit in with friends. I hung around in a group of 5 people where the 2 others were all best friends with each other, and I was the odd one out. So when I was on radio and I did some work experience there and did a show, people were like, oh, you're really good, actually, and ringing up and playing requests. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of accepted now. And I saw this as a place where I might fit in because I never fit in. And then the problem is at radio, once you get the bug, you've got it and you're in it for life. But it was the anonymous side, the fact that people couldn't judge how I looked. They couldn't, do anything but listen to my voice.
That's a very interesting thought to have as someone so young that you don't fit in. Like, what are the indicators? Like, what's telling you, oh, I don't fit in here?
Well, in my family, I never really did because my father was an alcoholic up until I was 4. And, life was very chaotic because with an alcoholic or any addict in a house, all they do is it's just chaos. And what used to happen is my 4 siblings would side with my mum when an argument would happen. And I remember as young as 4 years of age, being sent out on the street with my dad when they would fight. So I was, I wasn't the youngest. There was a baby as well, but I was the second youngest. Yeah. And I was with my dad. It was always me and my dad. But when I look back, I'm kind of like, that was a 4-year-old, so even from that age, it was like, you're not good enough. Out you go.
That's, yeah. And do you remember that as a 4-year-old?
I remember my earliest kind of memory of the chaos was one time where they had an argument. My dad went out. I was sent with him. And, he fell and he cut his knee. Now, he'd split his knee open and he asked me to knock into one of the neighbours and ask them for a lift home. And I was only 4, but I do remember thinking, why can't you just walk? We're around the corner. But obviously he was that bad that he couldn't make it around the corner. But that's the only memory that really sticks with it. But I just constantly was trying to, impress my mother. I was trying to impress people. I wanted people to like me. And then when they didn't like me or I felt they didn't like me, I went to buy them. Like my dad used to say to me, you don't have to buy your friends because I'd be, getting your pocket money and I'd run to the shops to buy everyone sweets because I thought I wasn't good enough. But here, if I give them something, they might like me a bit more. And I kind of had that all through my life.
That's amazing. That's a deep insight into yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've done a lot of work on myself over the last couple of years.
Oh, I can imagine.
So I'm only kind of seeing this now. I wish I had seen that years
Yeah,
ago.
of course. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you are, and look, I'm not qualified by any way, to comment, but I think if you want to be someone who's accepted and liked, you're going to do anything to get to that. So if that's, as you said, spending your pocket money, the result is what you want. So how you get it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's not a good discipline to get yourself into,
No.
but like I constantly thought if I went the extra mile, that, and I still do it. Like I still do it today. If I'm asked to do a job, I'll do it and a little bit more because it's still in me that I need to do more to impress someone, that I always need to buy people's affection. Now I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. But it still rears its ugly head. So this is very deep in. It's almost, ingrained in me that I'm not good enough. And, at times that loud voice who goes, "You're a piece of SH1T," comes back all the time. And it goes right back to that 4-year-old.
It's funny because it's not recognition. It's like it's not like you're looking for recognition. You're looking for insight. You're looking to be wanted.
I want exactly it. I only said this recently. I always wanted to belong.
Yeah.
So when we think of my family unit, so 4 siblings and I'm cast out.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be in that nest. And that happened then with my friends. And then when I went to work, and even when I got to the heights of 2FM and working on RTE and all that, I was still never in the in crowd. I was always the one sitting in the shadows. Always wanted to be in there in the middle, but like never fully accepted. And scarily enough, the common denominator is me. So I needed to look inside and go, what's going on there? Like I said, thankfully, it took me, ending up in an awful place to have this time to work on myself. But I've done an awful lot of work in the last 3 years on myself.
And do you think on that journey that you always felt on the outside, that your colleagues at the time would have said, "Oh, there's Nikki, she's, cast"?
No, but I think what feedback that I have got from some people that would have known me kind of, over the years, who are decent people, said that I had huge walls around me and that actually it was quite hard to break those walls down. So when I would be, "Oh, they don't like me," obviously I put up this wall,
of course,
pushed them away,
of course,
and then sat back and said, "Oh, why don't they like me?"
Yeah.
So it's quite complex. But then that leads into, mental health issues and everything else. So, I was a very complex person, probably still am to some degree, but at least I understand myself a little bit more now.
When, at what point, and you've said because you've worked on it, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get into your journey and all that crack, but just at what point in your journey of whatever tools or whatever means you're using, do you kind of realise the things about the walls up, or about that you were protecting yourself, about that you were being lavish to support others and things like that? Is there a point like later on that you're thinking, "Oh shit"?
I literally didn't face this until I was in treatment. So I was in a residential home in British Bay, 2.5 years ago, and I was working with a therapist. And where I went to Tiglin, they break you down to rebuild you. And I mean, they break you down.
Oh, yeah.
So, at that point, I wasn't broken. I was shattered, like completely shattered. And bit by bit, they rebuild you. And they were in my face saying, why are you a people pleaser? What is it about people pleasing? Why are you afraid just to be yourself? Why this, why that? And then I had to deal with it and go, "Oh gosh, I am." And even to the point, like say a staff member would say something to me and I'd try and be nice. They'd be like, "Why are you trying to people please with me?" And so they'd pick you up all the time. And suddenly you couldn't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
Because all these people are throwing it in your face going, "You're people pleasing," and you're like, "Am I? Oh gosh, I am."
Is it that regimental in where they're kind of putting the thoughts into your mind that stop doing these things and do these? Is it that?
Yeah, there's a huge amount of discipline involved.
Gotcha.
Because when you think about it, an addict has no discipline, it's complete chaos. So, even the routine of getting up in the morning, cleaning your room, making your bed, you have to do all that before you step outside the door. You were then not allowed back into your bedroom for the entire day. You had a routine you had to follow, whether it be training, food. We all sat around one big long table.
Yeah.
Everything was routine. It was almost military-like.
Yeah.
But I do say, Tiglin is tough, but thank God it was, because I ain't ever going back there again. So, I'm glad it was so tough, because maybe if it wasn't, I might have thought, hey, I have another go inside me, and might have gone back out there, but no way. But yeah, you're constantly picked up on things and constantly challenged. Because I went in there and they were like, I knew it was a rehab, and they were like, and a behavioural centre. And I was like, I don't have any behaviours. And oh my God, my behaviours were off the wall, absolutely off the wall. I didn't like to be challenged. I people pleased. I instantly disliked someone if I thought they disliked me and pushed them away. So all these patterns that I'm telling you about from my childhood, they were all rearing their ugly head, you know. So it's amazing. It's amazing when you strip away the world, you take away your phone, you take away the noise of work and outside living, how much you actually have to expose the ugly truth of who you are.
That's so their big tool is creating positive habits, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Yeah. Changing your behaviours.
So do you know what's funny there, right? The fact that they're telling you all these things that you do and you didn't even recognise that you'd done them.
No.
Isn't that nuts?
I literally said, I don't have any behaviours, those words.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember my sister saying to me, you know, she dropped me off to the rehab and skid out the driveway afterwards. But she was like, oh, you have a lot of behaviours. But like everybody else could see them, but I couldn't. I thought it was grand.
But I mean, if you think that's your path or journey, you know, you don't know what kind of path it is.
No.
You just think that you're doing the right thing.
Well, you just do you.
Yeah,
and
of
you
course.
don't really you don't put too much thought into it. And I think that's a lot of people's problem and issues later on in life is you don't really stop to kind of focus or challenge or even look into why you do things. You just do them.
Yeah.
You know, and when you do look into it, you go, oh crap, maybe I'm not doing this the right way.
Yeah. Talk to me about your professional life then, your journey from 15 to, because let's be honest, I was at home telling my wife, who I mention every week in this podcast, even though she doesn't listen, but anyway, that, who was a journalist and a DJ for a period of time as well, right, before she went to teaching, that I have Nikki Hayes on the show. And she goes, what? She goes, Nikki Hayes was one of the most recognisable voices in Ireland during this period. So I was like, yeah, I know, it's amazing, but I kind of want to know the professional journey then. How did you get to that point? Because you were at the very top.
I was really, like, I was very blessed. So I started on radio when I was 15 on pirate radio. Yeah. So we were illegally broadcasting from a shed in Dunleary and the bug got me. I was just like, oh, I love this. Yeah. So my parents wanted me to go to college and do law. I went, but didn't last very long. I partied my way out of it. But I got a job on East Coast FM when I was 18 and I worked my way up through the industry. So I wanted a job on East Coast. I wanted to go on air. And the CEO, Sean Ashmore, said to me, tell you what, sell advertising Monday to Friday for me and I'll give you a show at the weekend. Done. So that was my first gig then. And then I was there a year and a half and Spin 103.8 started up the brand new youth station in Dublin. I whacked off a demo, got a call, you know, we want you. I remember thinking it was like the X Factor. I was like, woo, best thing ever. So I went in to work for them. Again, I was only there a year and a half. Then 2FM called me. Would you like to come over and work for us? You know, there's a bear shit in the woods. Everybody wanted to work for 2FM. I was like, yes.
Have you not seen the wages?
So I was like, oh my God, this is unreal. So I went over to work with them on a 3-month contract and John Clark said, you know, do you want to stay? We'll get a show for you. So I was 23. I was 23 on near 100 grand a year. I was been flown around the world. I, was meeting the most massive stars. I mean, when people say to me, who have you met? I say it's easier to say who I haven't because after over the years, you know, I was working on 2FM, very quickly went from the weekends to night times to the lunchtime show after Jerry Ryan. Yeah. You know, so Jerry Ryan was before me, Rick O'Shea was after me, and Larry Gogan was sitting at the desk beside me. These were like massive names. I'd go to the toilet down the road, down the corridor, and you know, Joe Duffy walks out. You know, it was mega names, especially for a 23-year-old. And you know, while I was there, you know, a very famous TV show called SMS, which I know you've heard of. Nobody's ever heard of. It was on RT2 television on a Sunday morning. I did that for, you know, a couple of years as well. And, you know, got to interview like huge acts. Like my daughter was really impressed because when My Chemical Romance first came out, I interviewed them at Witness, I think it was. I don't think it was even Oxygen,
Guinness Witness, wasn't it?
And I showed her a picture and she was like, oh my God, you met Gerard Way? And I'm like, yeah. So she wants to show all her friends, you know, like, because it was just so mad. There was nobody I didn't meet. So the career happened really, really quickly. My issue was that I had undiagnosed mental health problems. I had a growing addiction. This was all playing in the background, along with the fact that all of a sudden, because I was probably the main female voice in Ireland at the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And because I was so young, I got an awful lot of press attention. So, you know, my profile grew very, very quickly, yeah.
And obviously as that, because that's meteoric, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking 5 years at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
Like $100,000 a year. What are we going back, 15 years?
Oh, gosh, no, 25.
20.
Like 20.
Like $100,000 a year 20 years ago.
It was a lot,
It's probably worth about a million now.
Mm.
Like, as that's rising, is your likeness for partying, for socialising, like on a parallel with that?
Oh, yeah. So, like, I had my first drink when I was 11, right? So my industry, you know, the entertainment industry did not in any way cause it, but it enabled it. Yeah. So I was very able to, like, we had the openings of envelopes you would go to.
Yeah, of course.
Free bar. I was flown over to the UK. James Blunt was dropping a single. It was like staying up best hotels, free bar. You know, I remember coming back on an Aer Lingus the next morning and getting sick into a sick bag with Ronan Keaton sitting behind me. And I was like, you know,
sorry.
Yeah. But that was the kind of life. It was just like, go. You know, and when Xbox first came out, we were in this like luxurious apartment down in London with like the cast from EastEnders and stuff. Wow. Like, it was just mental stuff, absolutely mental. And I was young and I was loving it and I was partying. And it made me not have to admit that, hey, there might be something going on. Because like, but this is my job. Yeah. I'm having fun and I'm holding down a job and I'm doing a good job. So, you know, it definitely enabled things along the way. I was functioning. There was definitely issues going on back then.
Well, at the pace of your job, you had to have been high functioning.
Highly functioning, yeah. I only said that recently. When I was on 2FM, when I look at the chaos and the manicness and everything that went on, I was definitely highly functioning, yeah. Without a doubt, because I would go from, like I say, an event in London to fly home to Dublin and be on, you know, national airwaves at midday. And I would do it and not even blink. You know, I was highly, highly functioning.
And you weren't on your own in this, obviously. I know you might be going places, but you're going to events where there's networking and that. And is the circle you're in at the same level in relation to socialising, partying?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, they weren't addicts. So they could go to a party and they could go home and, you know, they'd know when to go home. They'd know when at the event, that's my last drink. Yeah. I wouldn't. Like, I remember Martin Fowler in EastEnders, the guy who played him, not the guy recently, but the one who played him beforehand.
The original one.
The really, really tall guy.
Good-looking guy, that guy.
They called me Seabreeze because they were like, I was drinking Seabreezes and they were like, hey, Irish, are you on another Seabreeze? And then they start calling me, I don't know why I gave him an American accent there, but English, But like, because literally I was just, you know, on the Seabreezes for the night and I was like, this is great. But I knocked them back to the point where I had to fall to an airport, get sick on the airline and then come off at Dublin and go straight into RTE, you know, mental.
How did you at that time then separate your job from the social side of your job? Like, that must have been very hard. Like, did they ever dovetail where you found yourself having a sneaky drink before you started work? Or
not really at that time. There's one time I can remember where I had been at like an absolute lavish party the night before and I turned up to a roadcaster, which is the outdoor broadcast bus, and I remember one of the guys working on the roadcaster, you'd have a crew working with you. He says, gosh, you don't look very well, like, do you want to go home? And it was kind of like, well, we don't really have anybody else to go. And he said, maybe you need a hair of the dog, you know. So that is one time and one time only that really sticks out. But I'd say I was just bloody lucky, to be honest with you, that it didn't fall apart sooner than it did.
And to go back, you said you started drinking at 11. I did hear you say that before. Yeah. And I always wanted to ask you, what drives an 11-year-old to drink?
I didn't fit in, so
it's all circling around the same thing.
Yeah, so like I said, I had a group of 5 friends. 2 of them were best friends. 2 of them were best friends. I was in the middle. Never fit in.
Would sorry to cut across you. Yeah. So would them pairs describe you as a friend?
Yes, but they call each other their best friends.
So fucking hard.
I was the only one who didn't have a best friend.
Isn't it?
Well, in a group of 5, it's kind of obvious who the odd one out is. But yeah, so like we'd go to sleepovers for friends, you know, in school and stuff like that. And, you know, I'd always be kind of just the one who'd fall asleep in the sleeping bag. No one really bothered. I don't even know why I was invited sometimes. But then when I started, you know, taking a little drink and, you know, I felt it relaxed me a little bit. It gave me this warm, fuzzy feeling. But then I started acting out and I'd be like a bit of a clown. And
Get a reaction.
they thought, you're gassed. Did you see you last night? The dancing of you last night, or you know, what were you doing last night? And I was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And it was back at a time when, I don't know if you remember this, but like we had Alco Pops like Woodies and Bacardi Breezers and stuff like that. Yeah. And like my parents, when I got to the age of like 15, 16, were saying, you can have a couple of them when you're over at your friends or whatever. And their parents were saying it. So it wasn't frowned upon. But the thing is, I'd have them and then I'd go into their parents' drink cabinet and knock back like, you know, a shot of whiskey or something, you know. So I was always taking things to the next level. And this is the problem with an addict. They always do. You know, it's never enough. And that's the difference between someone who parties a lot and an addict. Because the person who parties a lot can probably come to a point where they say, I need to stop. An addict never can.
And is at that time in your young age, or the early stage of your addiction, it's your ticket to acceptance.
Absolutely. I did not see it as a problem at all. I saw it as a solution.
Yeah.
It fixed things. It absolutely fixed things. I didn't feel as much hurt. I didn't feel as lonely. I didn't feel as left out. In fact, I felt like I belonged, that I was part of something, and actually that I was really wanted. So, you know, for me, it was a solution.
So if you go back to that time and someone kind of tries to intervene, your reply is going to be, well, why would I stop?
Yeah.
It's putting me in a space where I want to be.
Yeah. Like the first time I thought that maybe there was an issue was when I went to college. So I wanted to stay on radio. That's not a proper job. I was shipped off to college and I did legal studies in Donegal. But I was 18, living away from home for the first time with this growing addiction happening. And suddenly I had no one to be accountable to. So I was out partying, freshers week, student nights, you know. But again, I was doing it to the absolute max. And that's where drugs got invited into my life as well.
I was just going to ask,
So it wasn't just drink anymore. You know, we were trying pills and speed and all these different things that were coming in. And, you know, what I found at that time was, oh, if I take this, I can actually drink more. So, you know, again, at that point, with such dangerous substances, I saw it as a solution. I never, ever saw the problem in it.
Yeah, and is there fear in addiction?
Well, you know, you're running from a lot of deep embedded fear anyway, and you're numbing a lot of stuff that you don't want to deal with. So I guess you're always drinking or taking something to get rid of that unease that's in you, that dis-ease. I mean, that's where it comes from, disease. It's the dis-ease inside. So, you know, you don't know what it is you're afraid of. You mightn't have identified what it is, but you don't like the feeling. And you found something that will make that feeling better.
Yeah. It's different for everyone, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, the only thing that most addicts have in common is that they're an addict and there is some sort of childhood trauma. They're two very common denominators.
The addiction creates the mask, I think, for everyone.
Absolutely.
But the reason for the mask could be different for everyone.
It could be. It can be all sorts of things. It generally is a trauma and it most often is linked to childhood. And for me, it was that chaos at the start of my life, that never belonging, being pushed out. Yeah.
That's it's a bit upsetting to hear that, isn't it? That's the kind of root cause of things. But I'm sure that when you were going through after addiction to recovery, that almost to get to the root cause could have been a relief for you.
Yeah, it was, to be honest with you. To kind of understand yourself is huge. And I've said in recovery that, you know, the freedom that I've gotten, honesty is massive, because you don't have to, like you said there a few minutes ago, the masks, you don't have to put them masks on anymore. You can just be you, turn up, don't care what people think, because here, this is me. And for me, I know with my story being so public, I'm kind of like, well, you know all about the scars and the warts. So like, what else can you do to me? You know, so there's great freedom in that as well. But I found, you know, for me, learning about finally getting a mental health diagnosis when I was 36 years of age, and then obviously working through my addiction in the last couple of years, I know myself and I can understand myself and I can tolerate myself a little bit better.
Yeah. Talk to me about rock bottom.
Unfortunately for me, rock bottom was like rock bottom, and it should have been rock bottom a lot sooner than it was. So as a result of my addiction, I lost my job during COVID because we were broadcasting from home, and I had a home studio, so I didn't have to go into work. Because my drinking had got so bad, my marriage had broken up a couple of years prior to that anyway, but my daughter had gone to live with her father. So I had no job, I had no child to get ready for school. I had no husband at home to keep me regulated. At this point, my family didn't talk to me anymore. My mother hadn't talked to me in years because I'd lost my daughter, my brother, my sisters, none of them wanted anything to do with me. And then at this point as well, I had started hanging around with some really, really not nice people. The Gardaí themselves called them unsavoury people, and, you know, they were known to them, and you know, I understand why they use unsavoury. It was probably the nicest thing they could say. So my own friends also distanced themselves from me because they couldn't be around the chaos anymore. I wasn't listening to them. I was, you know, choosing these people who I thought, you know, wanted me. And then there I go again, this belonging that I wanted. They absolutely took everything from me. I had to sell my car, any money that I had, because I did get a redundancy when I lost my job. All that money gone, everything gone, technology, TVs, tablets, phones, everything, even to the point that my personal belongings, you know, Farah's first lock of hair, any christening presents we had, my dad's cardigan that he wore in hospice before he passed away, my granny's cardigan before she passed away, all these personal sentimental items, everything was gone, and they tried to bribe me to get them back. And actually, when I was in treatment, we worked through grieving the possessions because it was better to do that than to open any channels with these people again. I was left with nothing and nobody. And then I got a call from my landlady because I was private renting. And she said, like, you know, we're going to sell the house. It was COVID. I guess people were trying to get out. Yeah. They didn't know what was coming with the market. And most people would have spent 6 months, you know, to save their money, to get a deposit together. I had nothing at that point. These people were coming to collect my dough with me and giving me €20 to spend on my daughter for the week and taking everything else. So I had no capacity to save any money. And one of them said I could go stay with her brother for a while. Now, he was in addiction too, and I had to leave in the middle of the night because it got very volatile. So I left in the middle of the night with my cat. It was the only thing that I had left. And I went into the city centre in Dublin. I don't really know why I did, but I hopped on a bus and went in, and I stayed there for 3.5 months. When you think about it, my friends weren't talking to me. My family weren't talking to me. I had no job, so they didn't realise I was missing. So basically, nobody knew where I was for a couple of months. I truly felt like nobody, and I felt that was justified because like nobody even knew where I was or cared where I was. So for me, that was rock bottom. And I guess while I was on the streets, you know, every couple of, I don't know, random times you'd get an emergency bed off the homeless services. One night it was really, really bad. It was like in November and it was lashing rain, and I was lying on a park bench in Wolftown Square, and I was in a sleeping bag, and the Simon community came around to me, and they were like, look, we're really sorry, we've no emergency beds tonight, you know, best we can do is give you another sleeping bag. So I put that sleeping bag on as well. I remember I was lying on the bench and there was kind of hedging there, and I could see 2 Gardaí walking by. And in my head, I was like, maybe they'll look at me and I can tell, like, if they spark up a conversation, I'll tell them I need help. Yeah. They didn't look at me. And then a group came out from the church nightclub where it was a Christmas party because it was coming towards the end of November. And they were all out around the square and they were so jolly. And one of them came over to me. They didn't even point and go, look at your one over there. And I think it took all of my resolve not to get up and throw myself in the liffey that night, because I just was like, this is rock bottom. Yeah, that was the worst.
How many times have you relayed that story?
A lot. But each time it catches me, yeah.
I get that. I don't think your emotion changes in that story no matter how many times you tell it, right? But you've come through it. Yeah. Talk to me about the start of that journey.
Well, kind of everything started to change for me. I'm really wearing my emotion now. Everything started to change for me when I got a phone call from my sister So every now and then she would kind of periodically
On a complete whim or just...
on a complete whim.
Right, okay.
So she rang and she said, look, what's going on with you? And I broke down because I just didn't think things could get any worse. And I told her, and she hung up the phone on me. And I remember going, oh, for God's sake, like she doesn't even care. But she was actually so shocked. She just got on the phone.
She didn't know what to do.
She didn't know what to do. But she rang my other sister. And Caroline would have the better head. She's like, this is the girl I told you has gone into the prison service.
Yeah.
So she's got the good head.
Strong mind.
So she rang her and told her, and Caroline rang me, and she was like, right, here's what's happening. Straight away into a thing. She goes, we're going to put you up in tourist hostels, but you're going into treatment. And that's it. There's no argument. And I was on the assessment list for about 4 or 5 different treatment centres. And Caroline was always on at me, go to Tiglin, you need to go for a really long, this has been going on since you were a kid and you need to get this sorted. And I was going to a soup run to get my lunch, and I saw Tiglin at the lighthouse where I used to get my food. And I just said to a guy in the queue, are you the same place as the rehab? And Will was his name, and he said, yeah, do you want an assessment? I was like, yeah, I do actually. So he brought me in, and they were doing an assessment, and the girl got up and walked out, and I was like, "Jeez, yeah, that's what I just kept thinking. Like, actually, just like nobody actually cares." But she went out to actually say to the manager, "That girl is not streetwise. If we do not get her in, she is going to be dead." And so she could see that a mile away, and she couldn't believe I'd survived the 3 months. And they, in fairness to them, got me a bed within 2 weeks. Now, I was turned away and had to go back on the streets for a couple of days because I still had benzos in my system. And because the withdrawal from benzos, you can have seizures. There's no medical staff at the rehab.
Gotcha.
So they couldn't take you with that. So Edie, the assessment officer, she was great. She'd be ringing me at 11 o'clock at night. Have you got your bottle of water and lemons? So I'd be going around with the water and lemons, trying to flush it all out of my system. And thank God then Caroline drove me up, dropped me off in British Bay and legged it out the front gate. And I was there for 16 and a half months. Yeah.
This is going to sound like a stupid question. I ask many of them, Nikki, right? How long is a day in homelessness compared to a day in recovery? I'd say they're completely different days.
Completely different. I mean, when you're homeless, everything is about survival. Yeah. And you're walking and where will I go next? How do I go to the toilet? How do I do this? Everything is a mission, and you never know what the end game is going to be. In recovery, you wake up, like the first thing I do in the morning, I wake up and I have faith. I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for this. I look around. I'm in a beautiful new apartment. Thank you for this. I get a text from my daughter straight away. Good morning, mommy. I'm like, wow, thank you for my daughter. Like, remember, I hadn't seen my daughter when I was in treatment. For the 9 months of residential, I had zero contact. Her birthday, Christmas, my birthday, nothing. Literally nothing. And when I went to aftercare, we start building. But to have the relationship I have now where we're rebuilding, we're reintegrating, to have all that, to have a job, to have the right people in my life, to know that if a wrong person tries to approach me, I can go, no, you're not coming into my life. And that's my choice. I can control that. I never thought I had the right to make decisions before, but I've worked so hard on my recovery that if I don't want someone in my life, they ain't getting in there. And that's that. And that's my prerogative. But life in recovery is such a blessing. It's such a joy. I never take 1 minute for granted. And I'm so grateful for everything. But one thing I've said time and time again is I used to be kind of driven by what I had. So, you know, when I was at the height of my career, I would have had the best handbags and sunglasses and shoes. Of course, nothing I have left because every penny was gone. But now it's not. It's just the sitting there. It's the, you know, looking at the people around me, the small things, the nice cup of coffee I have in the morning. You know, I welcomed 4 new kittens into my life 11 days ago. I cut the umbilical cord on one of them and I sat there like a big dope on the bathroom floor with my marigold on, my thread and my scissors, and took a photograph with the cat's placenta.
Doc McStuffins.
I sent it to my best friend Audrey and she was like, oh my God, what have you become, you know? But like when we speak of, like of Audrey, you know, my blessing is to have the friends that I have. So I have 3 friends who I've had all my life. Now, they did step away from me in addiction. They did.
Do you understand that?
I do, because I've learned something through recovery and through treatment that family members and loved ones have to. It's called detach with love. And that means when they can no longer do anything for their own sake, they have to detach with love. So they love you, but they need to go. So I understand that. But the minute I wanted to help myself, the minute I checked into rehab, they were back. 2 of my friends are guys, Ronan and Paul. And you think about this, you're a guy. You know how hard it might be. So I was allowed 2 phone calls a week. One would be my sister's and the other one, they took turns, right? So Paul or Ronan, and they would just ring me and tell me absolute crap from the world of radio. They're both DJs, just to cheer me up. And I was like, that's a lot for 2 guys to do. And they've been amazing. And the 2 of them and Audrey, I literally could, like, I mean, they're just amazing. I'm so bloody blessed to have the friends that I have. I really am. And I love them more than anything in the world. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing. Do you know what just struck me, right? See, when you're in that 3-month period of homelessness, did anyone recognise you?
Do you know what? At the time, I didn't notice it, right? Nobody ever said anything. But since my story came out last May, I was contacted. So I was on the Anton Savage show the morning that the newspaper article came out in the Sunday Independent. And I was like in bed. I was still in transitional housing and Anton's show were like, can you come in? We need you in an hour. And then I got contacted on social media by a guy who worked in a soup run on Central Bank. He said, Jamie, I'm sure you won't mind me saying his name. I don't know him, but he contacted me. And he said, I saw you one night. He said, I was in shock. And I didn't come over to you because I know the respect that's needed for people when they're in that state. Wow. And then another guy contacted the radio show and said that I remember Nikki when I used to come home on the overnight buses and she'd be on the bus going backwards and forwards, but I didn't want to ask her what was going on. So, yeah. But at the time, I was so full of shame. You
didn't want any interaction.
I didn't have eye contact with anyone. No. Yeah. You know, I really didn't.
Yeah. And you mentioned faith there, right? Which I actually, I have faith. I think faith, I think people who haven't got faith is actually the reason for a lot of bad things, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about where faith fits into you now. What part does it play for you? Right.
Well, I would have always had some faith, some belief, but it wouldn't have been very strong. But when I went to Tiglin, my sister's a Christian 30 years and she prayed I'd get into Tiglin. And I did for a reason because it's faith-based program. So we would do Bible studies and prayer on a daily basis. And I guess I got to fall in love again with my faith and, you know, got to remember who God is and, you know, the part that they play in my life. And there was a wonderful woman who worked in Tiglin called Danielle, and I'm still in touch with her all the time. She's a great woman of faith. And she, from the time I started in Tiglin till I finished, and think about that, that's a long time, we did the book of Luke. Okay. And that was it, nothing else. So we dissected it. And I can tell you all about Luke. But I really got to kind of realise the messages and the hope and everything that's in scripture there for us. And prayer brought to me a great peace of mind. I feel Christianity is, the ethos of Christianity is to be a good person. And that's all I want to be. I want to do nice things. I want to be a good person. And I want to treat people how I'd like to be treated. So, you know, it all made sense to me. And I got baptised actually in Greystones in November of 24 in the harbour. Freezing, the 10th of November.
Wetsuit needed.
But, you know, my faith for me is a huge part of my life because I just know personally, I never Bible bash on anyone. Some people go, gosh, I didn't realise you're a Christian. Personally, I couldn't have done this without my walk with the Lord. Definitely not.
It is said that connection is the opposite to addiction.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So is a little bit of that in your faith as well, that you need to connect with, say, Christianity or that scripture, the Bible, whatever it may be, or is it broad?
For me, it goes back to what I've told you about wanting to belong. Yeah. I feel as a Christian and in the Christian community, and when I go to church, my old church was Greystones Presbyterian. I'm now in the Swords Baptist Church, and my pastor Johnny and his wife Yvonne, have embraced me like family. My old minister, Gary, and his wife, Dawn, who Dawn was my mentor throughout treatment, have moved back to Belfast. I am still like a daughter to them. So that belonging that I wanted from my family, my friends, all these people around me, I have that now. And I have that belonging with God.
Isn't it, in sporting terms, isn't that a proper result?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That you got, that you eventually got?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So after you finished the recovery, like, I mean, you're back now, you're back and ready, you're back working, you know, you're up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
God bless you. Very busy. Do you need to be busy? Did you need to get back in? Did you need to get your home routine? Did you need to almost test yourself?
I think so, because I finished treatment on the 9th of April last year, and I started back working in East Coast on the 11th of April. So
that's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it happened straight away. But I got written to by Sean Ashmore, the board. He's on the board of East Coast, telling me that if you want your career back, I want to be the one to help you. So I knew that avenue was there. And, you know, when I thought about it and realised it was what I loved, I made that call, and Sean was like, absolutely, we're going to have you back. And, you know, has remained huge. Him and his wife, Kira, who's the CEO, have been such an encouragement and such a support. You know, even recently, Kira pulled me into her office and was like, are you okay? Like, let me know if you get too overwhelmed. You know, you don't get that everywhere, and they treat me like family. But for me, yeah, I think I did need to be busy straight away. I love my work. I love it. You know, Farah lives with her dad. I see her regularly, but I guess not having that distraction of having her at home all the time, I'd rather be busy. So all of this works, you know, to keep me good. And also I find if I'm idle, I'm not good in my mind. So for me to keep busy and to keep doing things, to be proactive, it's all very important for my recovery and for my health.
If someone said to you after coming out of recovery on the 9th, and getting a job at 11, if someone came to you and said, Jesus, you're queer lucky, what would your response to that be?
Well, do you know what? I would say there's a part of it, absolutely. I would say blessed. But yeah, absolutely. You know, but also I've talked to a lot of addicts over the last year and their families, and, you know, there is a part of it that you have to take accountability for and realise that, you know, the mountain isn't going to move if you don't attempt to move it. Yeah. So if you don't try and do something in your life, it's not going to just fall on your lap. So I think a certain amount of it, you have to get up there and do the work. And I did do the work, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have, I meant that in a kind of a negative sense, because I wouldn't say you were lucky. I would say what you've been through to get that call 2 days later is deserved.
Yeah.
Especially with the career you had.
Yeah. Which, do you know what was really scary, because I felt so judged going back on air, but not one person.
I'd say that was difficult, Nikki, was it?
I got flowers. I got cards from listeners in County Wicklow, in different parts of the country. Nothing but support. The amount of people who were like, yeah, do you know what? You went through a shitty time, did some shitty things, but you know what? You're back. And like, you know, so many people were so nice.
That must have meant the queer law.
A lot, because a huge spurring factor of a lot of stuff that I deal with is guilt and shame. And it comes back a lot because, you know, I hurt my daughter. I really hurt her. You know, her mom disappeared for years. So, you know, that guilt and shame does rear its ugly head, but I've learned to try and manage it, because if I let that kind of take over, it could pull me right back down again, and I ain't going back down again.
In a second.
Yeah. You know, guilt and shame, you know, feeds into the addictive brain without a doubt.
In an absolute second. And I think guilt is the heaviest thing to carry for a human.
Yeah.
And if you are given something to escape from guilt, as you well know, you're going to, but the fact that you can harbour the guilt, deal with the emotion, progress through recovery, connect, rebuild relationships, I don't think that's something you can measure in life. And I genuinely have real admiration for you. I knew the story. I would have seen it, would have read it, but it's very different when the person's sitting in front of you.
Yeah. It's not nice. I mean, like, when I recall these stories, I'll be honest with you, I have to process when I leave here. Because it brings up, like, when I talked to you there about rock bottom. Yeah. I felt it. I felt in that moment a piece of crap, you know, and that kind of desperation, that all those feelings come back. But I see a therapist every 2 weeks. So, you know, she helps me with that. I'm by no means recovered. I'm in recovery, and I'll be in recovery for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that. Because if I ever lose sight of the fact that I'm an addict, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah. But that's a known fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is your social life like now? Can you go out and socialise? Do you have to avoid these things? What's the process for you? What works for you?
Yeah, so I actually make a choice. So in the radio station there a couple of weeks ago, Caroline left to go on to a new job, and love her to bits. I didn't go to the night.
Yeah.
I made a choice not to go there. I don't see why I should need to put myself into a pub. But me and Caroline are going for lunch this Friday. You know, so that's the way I work around things. Yeah. Same with my best friend Audrey. She got married last year. I was feeling a bit nervous about it. It was a 2-day event. But I hired a car, drove up and left after 2 hours. So I controlled the situation. When I was in treatment, we used to do things called weekend planners and weekly planners. And I used to think they were the most anal things in the world. Now I think they're the best. If you have a get in and a get out, a pros and a cons, you do cost benefit analysis. It sounds very technical, but then you know how you're getting in and you're getting out. And you know what? At the end of the day, then you're safe. And but that's what you need to do.
I think, as you said earlier on, you have to occupy your mind. So I think by you planning these things to work around what suits you is actually occupying the mind. Mm-hmm. The only fear I would have, I'm trying to give me in a situation, not that I'm selfish, maybe I am, I don't know. Is there a loneliness in it?
No, I'm a bit of a weirdo though, to be honest with you. I do like spending time on my own.
I love your own company.
Yeah, and I always have. And I think that's why me and my friends Audrey, Ronan and Paul are such good friends for so long. We all respect that. We're not in your face all the time. Yeah. But yeah, no, I actually don't mind my own company. Yeah. So
like if you did, I don't know, you're single?
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah. I haven't been with anyone in 8 years.
So would you be open to...
No.
You're just so content and happy in your own...
No, I'll be honest, and I've said this to Farah. I've only ruined my life for her, I can actually say that with great honesty and stick to it, because there's nothing in my life. I mean, the last relationship I was in was her father, and I'm just not in a frame of mind where I've room for anyone else in my life.
Got it.
I don't have the brain space to deal. Look, come here. I'm enough trouble. I don't need somebody else's issues. I'm hard enough to handle. So, no, it's about the people around me now. I want to invest my time in them.
Yeah, I'm with you, because you want to occupy your mind with you.
Yeah.
And what you need.
Yeah.
Not if someone is looking for their second shoe and they're on and shouting at you, Nikki, where's my fucking shoe?
No.
Not to that situation. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also important that people understand that around you, especially in your circle, right? That they know you, that they get to know you, that they know what tools you use now, they know what you can and can't do, right? Not you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that you stay with familiar people.
Yeah, and you know what? If the people love you and respect you and know you, they'll be okay with what you do. And my friends absolutely are. And I'm just not in a position where, it might sound a bit close-minded, I don't want to meet anyone new. So I have Ronan, Paul, Audrey, Gail and Tracy. I've got 5 friends. Yeah. And some people might say, oh gosh, would you not go bigger? No, they're important.
5 Christmas cards a year. Nice one.
That's all. They wouldn't even send you a Christmas card. Donation to charity. Well, I would say send it to the homeless charity. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm content.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you, you are happy?
I'm very happy with my life, yeah.
How important is that?
Oh, it's unreal. Like I said, the freedom in honesty is priceless. And the joy you get then from just being able to be your true self is unreal. I mean, even listening to Tommy Fleming the other day, I heard him say, I'm here to tell my truth. And I got that. I understood him. Yeah, I totally understood him.
And 100% believable.
Yeah.
Which I found outrageous.
Yeah.
That you could actually believe. But listen, I think that's a different podcast.
It is, completely.
I think that's...
But I think it's that kind of being able to stand in your truth that's important, and that brings joy. It absolutely brings joy.
Are you in a position in life to set goals?
Yeah, I am, kind of. So goals I would have is, my last holiday I had was my honeymoon. So 11 years ago.
Where'd you go?
We went to Portugal. It was kind of like our favourite place, so we went there. Yeah. I have a sister in Florida and I have a sister in Darwin. So both have open invitations. So yeah, but my aim is Farah, Now, she has met the sister in Darwin because she only emigrated 2 years ago, but she's never met my sister Anne in Florida.
Oh, wow. What a moment that'd be.
Yeah, so they've spoken on video, but she has twin girls and a boy. Now, they're 21 and the twins are 18, but they've never met Farah. So for me, yeah, that's a
What part
go.
of Florida are they in?
They're in Naples in Southwest Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like Florida.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I've been over numerous times, but not since Farah was born, yeah.
So you haven't had a holiday in 11 years.
Yeah.
That's great. Because what a goal that is.
Yeah,
That's
although
a
Farah
fantastic
reminds
goal.
me that we went to Paris to Disneyland for her birthday when she was 6, but it was cold and it was Christmas. She's the 18th of December.
Do you know what? On Paris, did you hear this about Paris?
No.
That there is a thing called Paris syndrome.
No.
Right, okay. If it's a lie I'm telling you, it's a lie I'm told. Right, but Google this later on. There's a thing called Paris syndrome where people have this thing in their mind built up about Paris, the most romantic city on earth, and it's beautiful, and the Eiffel Tower and the Champs-Elysees and all that. And they go to Paris and it's not about disappointment.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Japan actually opened a helpline for people who came back from Paris and were so disappointed that they had somewhere to go and complain.
Are you serious?
Look it up.
Oh, wow.
Just that you mentioned Paris, come into your mind. So I had to say this.
That's the first thing I'll do when I get home.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's nuts. We have quick fire questions for you.
Okay, go for it.
We do, yeah. Okay. So if you could speak to the version of yourself at your lowest point, what would you say?
Hang on. Somebody cares.
Ooh.
Because I really thought nobody did.
Have you asked that question before?
No.
To yourself? That's the first time you've said that?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What an answer that is. What are you most proud of right now?
My daughter, she's amazing.
What age is she?
12.
Oh, well, what an age.
Going into secondary school. Yeah.
Oh, big school?
Yeah.
Excited, nervous?
She's nervous because she's moving to a separate one that her friends are going to. But yeah.
One word to describe you now.
Content. Even a little bit more real.
Courageous comes to my mind.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's my... radio studio or DJ booth?
Oh, no. You're testing me.
Yeah.
The main love was always the radio studio. Yeah.
I seen a snippet on YouTube. Was I YouTube, Jeff?
Oh, it wasn't at Eden nightclub in Donegal, was
Yeah.
it? I've had that come back to haunt me a
Were you
lot.
in college during that? Did you mention them putting two and two together now?
No. So I was DJing in a club in Gridor, and they used to come in busloads. This is in the middle of nowhere. They'd come in busloads, and as you can see, I was absolutely flutered. But playing up to the camera, oh my God, I was wearing a disco ball dress.
But you know when you say this conversation that you feel like that people ascribe his life and soul the party. Like I can see you were playing that part.
Yeah.
Even in discussion on camera.
Yeah.
I was like, this one is
the party animal. Yeah.
unbelievable. You know. I'm just sorry. I hope I didn't embarrass you.
No. A lot of people have said it over the last year. I guess they've
Click the
Googled.
link on this. You can find it. I'm only joking.
They've Googled and come across it.
Yeah. Silence or noise?
Oh, I like silence. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I love silence. Yeah.
I
Underrated.
love driving in silence lately.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks.
I find sometimes you can be too overstimulated in this world. Like if you go into a shop and it's loud music, loud lights, sometimes you just need a bit of quiet.
Because I'm not the fucking guest here, you are, but I'm just saying that on my commute sometimes I had to have a podcast on, a radio on. But lately I just turned everything off. Oh, it's a much better journey.
Yeah.
The difference is nuts.
You hear yourself think.
Oh my God, it's nuts. The habit that keeps you grounded.
Routine. I have a very
Massive.
I won't let it drop.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. The latest I sleep until is 8 o'clock in the morning, and that's it. And that's very rare. I'm normally up at 6, half 6.
Is your routine even down to what you would eat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll have my Greek yogurt and granola, and then I'm on a protein thing at the moment, so I'll have my protein shake, and then I'll have my salad, and very, very, very regimented. But that's from my residential treatment. Yeah.
But needed.
And I carried the practice because it's a good practice. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing people misunderstand about addiction.
Well, there's two things here. The addict misunderstands the fact that they think it's only hurting them and nobody else. That's bullshit, because it affects an awful lot more people. But the misunderstanding is that they're being selfish. And this is hard to understand, because it is selfish, because, you know, you're doing this to, you know, numb you, and you're not thinking about everybody else. But it's also so much more complex, because you're in so much pain. You need to numb that pain.
Selfish to the point where your need is bigger than your selfishness, because you are fueling an addiction.
You're fueling an addiction, and you're numbing this deep pain. Like I say, most of it's childhood trauma. So you're dealing with this massive thing that you just can't deal with.
Yeah.
And, you know, you want to numb it.
Yeah. Would you ever have, you do help people, right? You are in a position where you support and volunteer.
Yeah, so I deal with thousands of emails and messages every day. Literally, I'm talking to somebody and, you know, referring them on to services. So this has happened since last May. It just happened as people heard the story, they got in touch with me, they related. So I've started working with different addiction centres now. I go around the country and visit different ones to try and motivate the women or the men that are in the treatment centres who are trying to get treatment, who are waiting on beds to get into treatment. And I'm also giving wellness talks on addiction to companies as well, because I think people have realised that companies need to play a part now in supporting.
100%.
Actually did a great one with Bank of Ireland and Johan Harry last year. So yeah.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Yeah. And that's, is that almost like a release as well for you?
It is, because I feel that some good is coming out of my trauma. And, you know, that kind of makes it in some way easier to deal with.
Which is a completely unselfish attitude.
Yeah.
Despite what you had in addiction, what you're doing now is the other side of it, right?
I just feel if I didn't do what I'm doing now, would it all have been for nothing, you know? So.
Wow. Have you ever considered putting it down on paper?
I've been asked, yeah.
And an exclusive?
I'm drafting stuff at the moment,
Listen, we'll get you back on to 110%. One thing that saved you?
My child.
I love it.
Farah, yeah.
I love that so much. We ask these questions to everyone, the last two questions, right? Mm-hmm. If you could know the absolute truth to any one question, what question would you ask?
The absolute truth.
It's a great question.
Oh, it's a great question.
Isn't it?
You've stumped me now. I don't think I've ever been stumped. Usually I'll talk about anything. If I could get the answer to one question, what would it be? Probably, you know, oh gosh, I don't know. I was going to say probably, but then I don't know. You know, I would like to know that as we pass over, we see something else. So, you know, we have faith and we have belief, but...
Are you asking the question, is my faith worth it?
The actual question I'm asking is because today is my dad's anniversary.
Oh gosh.
I'm thinking, is he there?
Yeah.
And that's probably the actual question, is he there? And if he's there, what does he think? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Last one. If you entered a room with everyone you ever knew, who would you go to first?
My daughter. She's all that matters to me.
What would you ask her? What was the first, what would you say to her?
I love you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Someone cutting onions in here, or what's going on? What is the story? That's all we have for you, Nikki, right? Lads, just a quick reminder about our website. You can catch up on all the past episodes. Keep up with what's new. Check out the website. There's a shop on it where we sell jerseys. Where did I put it?
On the ground.
So, Nikki, this is for you.
Oh, amazing.
So you can purchase these. Obviously, you don't have to. This is free for you. On our Hosey, www.hosey.ie on the shop, and you'll get all previous episodes, please.
Amazing. Thank you. Do you know what? My daughter loves wearing jerseys.
Oh, yeah, that's
so I can see this being adopted straight
absolutely.
away.
Yeah. She's more than well. I would have brought another one if I'd known.
No, she'll wear.
It's that time of the episode, lads. Once again, we have the CEO of Ampifi Studios in with her curveball, Shannon Redmond.
Oh, thank you.
Full time, Shannon. The last while, how are you finding things?
Busy. Trying to.
Good. We haven't been sacked yet, so it's.
Rein ye lot in. Trying to run the studio. But
what do you mean? Am I hard? Are we hard to manage?
No.
I would say I'm a little bit difficult.
sometimes, but I have to be
Give
nice.
me a few examples of my
Do you want to
difficulties.
start playing voice notes?
Oh yeah, there's a few. Yeah, there's a few. But
I know.
yeah.
You're passionate.
I'm gonna see you next Tuesday. The best of times.
Best of times, but the other times,
But it's all
great.
in jest. I don't mean anything by it.
You're fab. It's okay.
I'm fat.
Fab.
Oh, sorry.
Goodness me. Okay,
Probably
anyway,
Shannon,
moving on. Do you want your
26.
curveball?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay, if
The
money.
feedback from last week's curveball was brilliant.
Yeah, because we went into absolute debt over what way you
The
were
magic of
contradicting my wish.
podcasting.
Okay.
There's the curveball for you. Go on.
If money didn't exist, what would you spend your life trying to earn instead?
Sure, it'll have to be. So if money doesn't exist,
Yeah, so I'm assuming everything is free then.
no, couldn't be. Couldn't be
is.
free. Couldn't be free.
You with your mindset.
It would-
Nothing in
it
life
would-
is
it would-
free. It
Something
can
else.
be.
Something will have to replace money.
No. I'm telling
So
you.
you're telling me
doesn't.
that
It's my
lads
question.
are willingly going to dig graves?
It's. Excuse me now. Why did you go gruesome?
I don't know.
Tell you, our bits are Grim Reaper today.
Yeah. Are you? But you know what I mean?
No, right?
Not gonna get done. I'm not
Maybe
fucking
you're.
doing that. I'm not getting paid either to do that. I'm not driving that.
Yeah, but
fucking
money
trailer.
never existed, so you don't know what money is.
So
You don't know
we're
any
then
difference.
we're in the barter system world.
Whatever that means.
Do you know what the barter system
No.
is? So before money would have been a barter
Mhm.
system. So I would say here, I have 2 tons of grain.
Oh, and you're swapping them.
Give me a cow,
Oh,
and
stop.
I'll give you the grain.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, bud.
No, it's not. You're not doing anything like that. You're not working for things. What are you trying to earn? So money, basically, money seems to be everyone's problem.
Surely be land, would it?
Wouldn't it be a bit of respect or something? Like,
Huh?
would not be a bit of respect.
No, I'm sure because money brings power, right? So surely.
Well, the only reason you want land is because it's worth money. But money doesn't exist.
No. Touche. Correct and true.
Yeah.
Correct and true. Power, I want instead of money.
Yeah. Well, that's
Power,
something.
I don't want power, but I'm sure some would.
I'd like power.
I think reputation and respect. Then, if you're taking all possessions,
That's what
all
I
over-
said. Yeah, you'd earn a bit of respect.
You'd probably want reputation and respect. But I would perish the thought of a world like that now.
We're all just trying to earn each other's respect.
Yeah, the amount of kiss arson that'll be going on, and backstabbing, and just it'd be shocking, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Wouldn't it?
my
It'd be brutal.
goodness.
Yeah. Oh, hi Tony, how's it going? How are you? Are you well? Tony, I have an extra spud there. Do you want it? Yeah. Thanks, Jean. That's grand. Right, Jean goes back up into her husband Harry. Harry, that fucking cunt Tony's that are going taking that fucking spud, but he respects me quite a lot.
I'm bored.
Yeah,
Respected around here now.
Yeah, and that spud was gone off. I actually found that spud under a ditch. Do you know?
The dramas.
Yeah.
Are quite
I think it'd be. Well, if you look at the professional world, 90% of people that you work with in professional world would stab you in the face to get ahead of you.
Yeah.
And I just think that's a disgusting thing.
Everyone's out for themselves,
And
I
that's
think.
exactly what would happen if there was no money. If
But
you-
are they not getting... Well,
if
if
you
they're
were
getting
fighting
ahead
for
of you.
respect.
Yeah, I suppose. It's like a power thing, isn't it?
Well, do you know what? It'd probably go back to, like if you look at in history where like Genghis Khan, where there was no real money around like that, was probably a barter system. He just killed everyone. So if you look at Genghis Khan, they reckon I might be 100%, but they reckon 1 in every 8 people on this world can trace their bloodline back to him.
So you just did whatever you wanted.
Because so his power was obviously procreation.
Yeah.
It took me a while there. I was going to say something like recreating or
Well, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
yeah. But you look at Jesus. If you believe the Bible, like look at Jesus'
I
time.
love how you go so deep into
Yeah,
things.
but look at his time. Look at Jesus' time. He was crucified.
Do you just not think for like the weeks, and then when you come in here, you just open up your mind?
No, I'm like this the whole time. Sure, I am. Because see, I was a very shy.
Child.
Yeah, but with great imagination, but afraid to share the
Oh,
imagination.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So I think as I got older, I think I just started to write things down.
So,
and share things.
ask you what you're trying to earn instead.
Respect and power. Of
Respect
course.
and power, okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I think the people pleaser in me.
Earrings.
Yeah, a bit of diamonds, maybe.
Yeah.
People pleaser in me would thrive off having everyone just love me. So
Would it?
I would just...
Are you that person, generally, who you feel like you have to be loved?
Yeah, I'm such a people pleaser. It's one of my worst trait ever.
Are you, Shan?
Oh my God, it's horrific. I will bite my own or like cut my own legs off to make sure someone else has them. But like, it's not even, I know, of course, the kindness thing, but it's more so like everyone has to like me. But it's not even that I want to be liked by everyone. It's more of an anxious thing, you know, that kind of way. But yeah.
I don't understand. What the fuck is that? That's the biggest beehive in Ireland.
What the
Gone now.
fuck?
It's gone now. I don't understand. I don't understand the need for that. I don't.
People
But
pleasing.
do you know what it is, though, Shannon? I understand that that's not from a space of vanity or greed.
It's like a,
It's like a tool for you to cope.
yeah, it's like an
I know
insecurity.
I'm okay
thing.
with people.
Yeah,
Like I can't walk into that shop if I'm not okay with him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I must be a nice person if everyone likes me.
Have you ever considered?
Therapy.
Yeah. Have you had therapy before? No?
Genuine. I go to CBT therapy. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I've done it.
Very good, actually.
I've done it.
I'm just-
I've done it fairly recent, believe it or not.
Such a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm told though, you grow out of it. I'm told that a lot of people at my age are like that, especially when they're trying to climb the.
But do you not think
ladder.
yeah, I get that. Yeah, I understand that. But looking at society today, do you not think that people are being diagnosed now more later in life with ADHD and I always get that wrong. I always put an extra D in.
yeah.
ADHD, like a new television is invented or something. But you know, so I think that, yeah, I think you do grow over it, but you also grow over asthma. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it
I'm
can come
so
back.
jealous of people. Like, you know, the people who just do not give a rat's. They don't care whether you like them or hate them.
Yeah, but I think them people
I love.
are the most needy, though, Shannon.
I know. I'd love to be like that. Do you know, you just don't give a rat's.
Hey,
you
listen to
couldn't
that, I tell
give
you.
a flying Tuesday.
Flying Tuesday. I think everyone wants recognition,
Yeah.
no matter what to do, and it's a need. And I'm probably in that bracket as well. You need recognition, and you need to feel like that you're wanted.
Mm-hmm. Real reassurance.
But if you're chasing that reassurance, that's when the problem comes in. So there will be a portion of me that I couldn't give a shit what anyone thinks. It's probably a bigger portion now that I'm older and happier. But there's also a bit where you want to be a success, and there's also a bit that you want to be loved. But they're a lot smaller in me than they used to be.
I'm to a certain extent. So, like, I worked in radio. I work in very public jobs where a lot of people would listen to me in here, and like, you get a lot of hate. I'm not shy about posting myself online, so I get a lot. You know, you get the odd comment there.
Presented by Shannon. Follow
Who
on
does this
TikTok.
exactly? Who does one think she is? That kind of stuff doesn't actually faze me.
Oh, right, okay.
That's water off my back. Like, I have gotten. I think that was the world of radio that made me very immune to that, because you get people calling in and calling you all sorts and saying you're the most horrific thing ever. And I think that made me really accept that it's never actually a me problem. It's more about them.
Yeah.
But if I caught wind that you didn't like me, or like, sometimes I'm so hyper about it that like, oh my God, Podge was a bit different with me now today. He must hate me. Or
I get that, yeah,
Ash only said hello to me once and didn't say bye to me. Oh, I think he might actually be falling out with me now.
Oh, that's
Do you
really
know,
bad.
like,
Yeah.
I'd really overanalyze. But people that are directly impacting me, if they don't directly impact me, I very quickly forget about you. But if you're directly impacting me,
can I ask you something? Are you going on holiday this year?
yes,
Resort holiday, sun holiday.
no, I'm going on a hen.
Hen.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I want that. That's not a good example. So when you go on a sun holiday
Yeah.
in saying all-inclusive places you're going to be, do you pack then to impress?
Oh God, no, I couldn't give a rat's, because none of them people directly
Yeah, that's
impact
crazy,
me.
isn't it?
No one directly impacts me. Is if I think you are going to directly impact me, or you have an impact on my life. So like, people I care about. But
How
see,
big
do you
is
know
that
what it
network
is?
for you, though?
Huh?
How big is that network for you then?
It can stretch out to people who don't deserve it. So I tell you exactly. Do you know, we'll circle back to the
Podge.
therapist,
Yeah.
the CBT therapist. He told me my issue is that I expect me and everyone. I expect everyone to act like me. So I'm very given, and I will give my left arm to anyone. But when someone doesn't give me their left arm back, and that isn't their first natural response, I think I've done something wrong. So I'm constantly trying to like get the approval out of that person then, because I'm like, but why wouldn't you give me my left arm? What have I done? Da, da, da. Because I would do that, but not everyone is me. And I think that's kind of what
Super
shifted.
interesting. that
Yeah,
is.
because I expect me and everyone.
But then
God, we go very deep here, don't we?
yeah,
My
it's
therapy
great, though, I love it.
sessions.
But then there's others who would expect your left arm and not even contemplating giving
Yeah,
it back to you.
yeah,
Then there's others who give you both of their arms and say, I don't need them anymore.
yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
But that's just
I expect everyone to act.
there's
like
so many variants of people in people's minds, right? it's podcasting and stuff. There's your podcast.
There you go now.
The Variants.
Why is everyone
with
not
Shannon
me?
Redmond. Yeah. Love Me with Shannon Redmond. The Variants present Love My Left Arm with Shannon Redmond.
There's so many names.
Yeah. Are we good? Did you answer yours, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah, cool.
Very long-windedly. I did.
Thanks so much, Shannon. I have to say that these are very deep. But yeah.
You was going to go deep.
God bless. Thanks so much for coming on.
No, thank you. It's been
Genuinely
my
enjoying
pleasure.
it. Thanks for opening up. I find the story. I find recovery from addiction and the path. Even though addiction is a word that's broad for everyone, everyone's story is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I find, especially when it's a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't hear about them too often. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. So I don't have enough nice words for you.
Ah, thank you.
I genuinely hope you get that holiday.
Yeah, it's overdue. Definitely, yeah.
And I wish you all the best. All the best for you.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
genuinely do.
Thanks.
Lads, this episode is proudly sponsored by Carl Estimating, your one-stop shop for estimating and tender bids. Extra capacity without the payroll or HR headache. Brilliant. So that's it for this episode, lads. I've said that 4 times, haven't I? I'll never get a job on radio, Nikki, will I?
Talk to Shannon.
I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, go fuck yourself. I'm only joking. Make sure to like, follow and share on all the podcasting platforms. Ask us any questions, any queries, any insights. Just ask. And as always, not my podcast. It's Carol's podcast, your podcast. Good luck and God bless.
The How Is He podcast is brought to you by Carol Estimating, your one-stop shop for estimating and tender bids. Extra capacity without the payroll or HR headache. See carolestimating.ie.